Hey, it's day 46 of my 100x and 100-day journey, and I'm flying out here in about 5 hours. And so let me break down a couple different things because I've been thinking about things, and um, I kind of just want to touch on some things. So today was interesting. Was hoping that an invoice would get filled. That did not get filled, and I had to ask a friend for like $80 just so that I can get an Uber to the airport because I have $1 in my bank account right now. And that's just a part of it. Thankfully, I will have some cash flow coming in. And in fact, there is another contract that I'm working out. I previously mentioned in a couple of previous videos. Excuse me. There was this offer. We talked about something, and then they gave me a counter offer, which was paying me 1/4 of the original agreement. And I just had a conversation, and I was like, "Yo, no." I wasn't like no, but I was like, yo, let's just break this down. Like, where are the funds actually being allocated? What problem are you actually looking to solve? And like, just so you know, I'm the most equipped person to do very specifically and exactly what it is that you're looking to solve here. Which, to be candid and transparent with you about, is engineering automated workflows. So that's what I'm doing for this contract that I have not signed yet, but within the next 48 hours, it should be. We're gonna do like an agreement around 2K, and I'm gonna do work for them for a month, just some contract work, build out some workflows, and it's good. It's someone that the vibes are there. The vibes are good, and I think there's a mutual interest of mutual beneficial interest of collaboration and working together. So I feel good about this. I think that it's been very interesting. For the past month, I've primarily been able to stay out of scarcity, which is something that is new for me. That is staying out of scarcity for more than 10 days at a time. Just because the past 2 years, maybe even longer, there's just been a number of inconsistencies when it comes to knowing where psychological security is coming from. And I think a big part of that is having any sort of dependency in any fashion, anywhere. I think men, and women, I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman, but young men finding themselves building their thing, especially in mid-20s, it can be a hard thing. It can be a hard thing to do, but it's imperative. It's imperative for you to go out and, fight for you, fight for you, fight for your legacy, fight for I mean, at the end of the day, you're your own man. You're your own man, and that just period. End of story. End of discussion. And so it's there's things that you do. There's ways that you move. But there comes a point in time where you have to go out and explore the world. Go out and take the adventurous trek that your spirit and your soul is called to do. And that means sometimes going out into the wilderness for 40 days, and talking to nobody, so you have clarity. And 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 obviously these are metaphors, but it directly correlates to the journey and the path. And so I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I have a number of different things. I have the courage, and I have the courage to share with you the, like, raw, authentic, emotional experience side of things. Like, a couple days ago, I was not in a good place. Like, I was not in a, it's not like I was not happy. I was not happy a couple days ago. And I was not depressed. I wasn't even close to depressed, but I was not happy. And and I'm fortunate that I can be transparent about that and have the courage to know that, and the self-esteem to know that regardless of what people think or say or whatever, like, in like, the value that me being transparent brings is the whole point of why I'm doing this. It's documenting the process. It's documenting the insights. It's documenting the experience, the authentic experience. And so I feel obliged. I feel literally, like, spiritually and ethically obliged to express myself authentically. And that means I will say what I believe. I will say what I think. I will say what I feel. I'll share that. And I will not, like, I will not bite my tongue. I refuse to bite my tongue. If I don't want to, I refuse to bite my tongue out of obligation or expectation of society, of this, of that, yeah. I don't give a fuck. Like, I have to not give a fuck because there are so many people out there who cannot afford to give a fuck. That's why I feel so responsible to be someone who so authentically expresses myself across all landscapes, emotionally, artistically, like, ideologically. And so that's that. Now, I think it's worth mentioning that your lens is definitely going to shift depending on the psychological state that you're in. For example, if you are in a state of scarcity, then it can sometimes be hard to see opportunity. And mind you, this is not just financial scarcity. This is, like, emotional scarcity. This is love scarcity. This is, like, different parts of scarcity in different people's lives. You know what I mean? If you have insecurities, if you have, the list goes on and on. But the thing is that depending on your state, it's going to affect how you interpret things and how you resonate with things, how you respond to things. So, intuitively, it is most ideal to be in a position where you have the highest quality discretion as possible. And the quality of your discretion is high, and also the rate of your discretion is high. such that as many decisions as possible that are being made, whether they are conscious or unconscious, are high quality, quickly made decisions. And this is generally what I optimize for. When it comes to decision making and what makes a high quality decision, it is entirely dependent on the context. Entirely dependent on the context. And anybody else who has anything to say about that, if they disagree with that stance, we can agree to disagree. It's completely wrong. High quality discernment is entirely dependent on the context. End of story. As far as I'm concerned. I can't even begin to consider a frame where that is not true. And I don't think it's useful to. So with that being said, it's important to know in whatever direction that you're traveling in, what the context is. You know, the context behind your intention, the context behind, or like within the domain that you're working in. The context of a fucking YouTube video that you're making. You know what I mean? Like, context is absolutely everything. And this is also becoming super apparent in the way that we're using artificial intelligence as a species to evolve and build technology. Like, the output of your agentic engineering, like the output of what an agent produces, its quality is completely dependent on how well the context has been provided to the agent. It's as simple as that. So, to be quite frank with you, I don't know specifically why I bring this up. I would say that generally there's this, like, I sense that there's, like, this is an important value and belief of mine. And I would even go so far as to say it's more of an observation even than a belief. It's just first principles. It's just like literally like, how does data flow? And how does data flow accurately? And how does data flow well? So, but this is the thing. I also have to be aware enough to recognize, like, my own cognitive biases. And especially if there's any degree of psychological scarcity in the mix. So to tie it back in, to come full circle, I mentioned that for the past 3 days, we came the closest to flipping back into scarcity in basically the entire month, which is cool. But it definitely reminded me. It's like, okay. Bear with me here. Thanks for bearing with me. So, the value I see in talking about this is that, like, I can sense that I'm probably not going to flip back into scarcity again for a while, at least financial scarcity. I think that I can almost sense on the timeline in my life where it's like, no, I'm fixing this fucking problem. Like, I'm fixing this problem, and at least the way that it has been, it's not happening. I am making sure that it does not happen. We're solving this problem, and so I just want to kind of document this, and I want to kind of get it out because, well, it's time to let go of it, and also, who knows, maybe like this will help resonate with people who, I don't know, but let me talk about this. So it's like, there are elements that provide a person security, psychological security. They're things that drive our behavior and our actions. And for me, it boils down to three things really: growth, autonomy, and agency. Autonomy and agency are different things. Autonomy is the freedom, agency is the decision making. Autonomy is like, there's freedom in decision making, there's freedom in autonomy, but there's also like opportunity. Okay, so we yeah, so let's so I'm just like saying a bunch of buzzwords that are like in the realm of those three categories. You've got growth, uh, autonomy, freedom, like leverage, opportunity, decision making, ownership. These are things that mean very much to me, and the thing is that the fundamental psychological nature of how I'm wired. I think that these values are like, at least for me specifically, it makes very much sense why in this season of life or in this journey, cutting dependencies is kind of an inevitability. There's no other option. There's no other alternative. Like, being dependent is not an option. Having dependency is not an option. No matter what. Like, it is inherently incongruent. It's a conflict of interest with the values that I hold. Because having dependency, it is it encroaches on opportunity. It encroaches on autonomy. It encroaches on agency. It's like this energy, like when you're a bird that just wants to fly, or you're a fucking jet or some shit. It just wants to zoom, that's like, it was made to zoom. And so, to be fair, all of these are signposts. These are just, I'm like using metaphors to allude to the energy of this experience. And so to take it back to the place that being in scarcity, I'm just gonna like dive into this just a little bit more. Rage, deep resentment, anger. Like, there's a tie there. There's like a deep I don't know the specific word, but like those are words that are close. And there's some sort of tie between that and not having leverage. being trapped. Um, and so it's really interesting navigating your relationship with yourself, your emotions, relationships with other people. It's interesting. This is the human experience. And and you have to make decisions. You have to make decisions about your life. Because if you don't make decisions about your life, other people are going to for you. And if you spend too long letting other people make decisions for your life, then society will get used to it and expect you to allow them to make decisions for you. And they'll judge you when you try to say, actually, I want to make my own decisions now. I want to make my decisions for me. You'll see this in your friends. I remember when I was 18 or 19, I had some friends, and I just changed my habits, and it was hard. And I realized after a month or two that me and my best friends didn't actually have as much in common as I thought, now that we weren't participating in the same behaviors. Now, that example doesn't apply to every single relationship, obviously. What it does touch on, what it does like thread, is that I had to make the decision. I had to recognize that what I was doing, I had to do. And regardless of how painful the change was for all of us involved, it's not easy to say no to your friends. You know, especially if you've been saying yes to your friends for a long time. But at the end of the day, I knew what I was doing wasn't the best thing for me. So yeah, this also goes into the decisions about your business. Like, at the end of the day, you got to make decisions. And if you're the CEO, you got to make decisions. Sometimes those are hard decisions, but they're decisions that need to be made. So anyways, I think this is an interesting video. I know it's longer than usual. I'm going to probably wrap it up. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna get about 2 hours of sleep, and then I'm hopping on a plane. I'm gonna take 10, 15 seconds to just see if anything else comes to me that I feel like may need to be spoken. We are spiritual creatures. And life is a very fascinating thing. Intelligence and life are very fascinating. And so, all that being said, is that there's a lot of information, there's a lot of noise. Like this device, noise, 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 everywhere. And so, don't forget that to close your eyes and to listen and to just to be present and to observe. Don't forget that that's an option and that you might be able to kind of just like catch a ping. I'll see you tomorrow. Cultivate, innovate, elevate. Peace. Namaste.